Yay! Welcome to the April full moon dance party. The full moon is moving into Virgo and we are just ahead of it. So there's this like sensation of kind of like in the heart and the throat around like something's coming. There's like a stuckness happening and it's kind of a rooted anxiety quality. Um, and the number one thing I've heard from my clients in the last couple days is, how do I sell or how do I support my clients without being like excited and fully enjoy and like maybe I have a pain flare up happening or I'm not really feeling good this week. And how do I choose to do it anyway from a place of like groundedness and pleasure and play and trusting that this too shall pass. And so that's what we're going to play with in this 10-minute ritual. So I'm going to invite you to take some deep breaths, either finding a seated or a standing space, somewhere where you can put your feet on the ground, right? And really feel your feet on the ground in front of you, either on your floor or on the earth. If you can walk outside, I invite you to walk outside, put your feet in the mud, in the snow. Maybe you're on a beach. That'd be great. And really wiggle your toes, lifting all of your toes up off the ground and trying to place them back down one by one, creating as much space as possible. I'm going to do this with you from a standing position. So inviting you to stand or get as comfortable as possible. Maybe even reach your arms up and overhead, clench your fists and bring them back down, all the way down to your sides. So if you can't see this, I'll say it again. You're going to reach your arms up and overhead, close your hands into like beautiful, peaceful, powerful fists, draw them all the way down, elbows at your sides, and then drop them and open them, palms facing forward. You can even include a breath with that if you feel like it, or you want to heat up the body a bit, reaching the arms up and overhead, closing your fists, pulling them down to your sides and opening. So that's on the exhale. Inhaling, coming up. Exhaling, drawing the arms down, all the way out. And finding a few more of those if they feel good. If they don't feel good, don't do it. And starting to notice your feet as you're doing this, keeping the pressure equally through the toes, the middle of the feet, your heels. Just envision that energy flowing down through your head into your heart and throat, almost like a little golden river that's kind of moving anything that feels stuck or sticky or frustrated or not enoughness or who am I? How do I dare? And just let that flow through and down into your feet. You can continue with the arm motions if it feels good, or you can let them go. Playing with the idea of the audacity of who am I? How dare I? Yes, I get to. Maybe even repeating that out loud if it feels like a good idea. Finding some deep inhales, equally full and deep exhales, sighing out your mouth. If you're in a space where you can make noise, this is your invitation to make noise. Letting out your breath, letting out a primal scream. Anything that's frustrating you, anything that's in your way, letting it flow and move and be. Wiggling or shaking it off, maybe even finding a bounce. I love the bouncing. So you want to think about bouncing from your feet and your hips and your knees. I'm going to move the camera so you guys can see my full body a little bit more. But there's kind of like the springy quality. Letting your arms wiggle around. Rolling your shoulders up to your ears and back. Who are you becoming? And can you let the discomfort in the becoming happen? without needing to judge it or change it or shift it, but letting it move through. I have baby chicks hatching right now. And I thought it was going to be like dinosaurs, like all of a sudden, blammo, the chick is out of the shell and we're done. No, it's a 24 to 48-hour process that starts with just a little puncture from the inside out. And then they become cheepy eggs for a day or two. Tiny little beak cheeping at you. You can't see the full chick. You hope it's working, that it's going to work okay. But it has to be in the container, in the stuckness, as it slowly detaches its body from the shell. Like that process is intentional. It's on purpose. It's part of the growth. It's critical to the chick's well-being that it goes through it. And I feel like we are in that time period right now where there's a little bit of stuckness, right? And a little bit of shifting and a little bit of like, oh, can we hurry up and get to the good shit already? No, not yet, but it's coming. And we get to trust that it's coming because it's happened before. You've seen other people do it. You've watched yourself go through seasons. This is the phase we're in of early spring, of the full moon, and of allowing this wakening up to happen. So if it feels good to you, you can repeat out loud from your room. You can shake and move back and forth, but I'm going to invite some affirmations in, and then we'll conclude the ritual part of the full moon ecstatic dance ceremony, and I'll get us to our playlist. So, I am more than the sensation of stuckness. I don't have to be high vibe and effervescent and full of joy in order to make sales and help clients. Who I am becoming is just as valid and worthy and divine as who I am and who I've been. I can trust myself to make the right choices at the right times. It's working, it's working, it's working, even when it feels like it's not. Be here, be here, be here. All right, I'm gonna hit stop on the recording.